Yeah, don't screw it up and then you fall out or something like that.
No.
Awesome. Well, it's nice to have you back. And you know what? I am so excited about this show today. And to everyone that's watching our show and listens to our show on Spotify and Apple and Google and everywhere else, YouTube, it's not a podcast. Don't think it's a podcast. Dominic, I heard that you were trying to make it a podcast the other day.
Well, yeah, Jay, once in a while we got to do that, right? So,
anyways, we're the only not a podcaster out there. I actually emailed all my podcast friends the other day and said, hey, you know what? Someday maybe I'll be growing up to be a podcast, but we're just going to take the number one show in America and make it a show.
If you're expecting to grow up and be like mature and stuff, that's probably not going to happen. So
not here. No.
I don't.
No, not here. That's going to happen. But we do have an amazing top level, incredible, like this is royalty we have on the show today. I'm super, super excited to talk about what he does and the restaurant group that he takes care of and the guys he takes care of it for. It is incredible. Dominic, this is like a showstopper. This is like end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Grey Cup, Super Bowl, Stanley Cup. We won't talk about that. Adam was kind of poking me earlier about that. We'll talk about that. But we have an amazing guest. I'm pumped. You pumped?
Graham, I'm getting a little bit of feedback, Jay. I'm not sure if you're hearing that as well. When you speak, you're breaking up a bit, but you're
kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if Adam
just let's make sure you don't have droopy face. We're good. It's not you. You're not having that stroke. Okay.
No.
All right.
I got the droopy face without smelling the toast, I guess, the burnt toast. So
okay, no burnt toast. All right. Well, let's get going.
So good. Cheers.
Let's respect this guy's time. We're going to go into the intro. Be right back with this amazing guest. Here we go. There you go. Welcome, Adam.
Welcome, Adam.
Hey, Dominic.
I was going to say, I hope that intro's not too much. We always get hacked on our intros.
Good movement. Nice time. Reflects the show.
Well, it reflects our guest.
Yeah.
I am so honored. It is incredible, Adam, for you to spend the time with us today. You know, this is all about you. We talk about our shows as not a podcast. There's no podcast. Everyone's got one now. And we like to do ours around the whole idea that it's all about you. We just do a great show, and we just want to welcome you to the late night.
Great. Wow. Great to be here, and great to be able to talk about Rock and Brews and share it with North America.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Dominic, y'all ready?
I'm ready, man.
I'm shaking over here. I'm going to let you go. So, Adam, you got to talk about. So, first of all, CEO, partner of Rock and Brews. How did you get into this?
Well, it's a small town story, really, because I was really brought into it by what was a kind of a friend of mine, a couple friends of mine who lived in the neighborhood. Michael Zislis, who's a restaurant hotel entrepreneur here in Southern California, and then Dave and Del Ferrano, who are the rock and roller guys, that date way back to the late 60s in the industry. And between the three of them really made up a great partnership. But as Michael will always say, I first created a pizza company called Fresh Brothers and grew that to over 20 units. And after taking a break of that and some kind of change up around that, and I still sit on the board and still involved with Fresh Brothers. I was talking with my buddy Michael one day, and as he likes to tell people, how'd you guys meet each other? Well, we've been at every charity event, every school giveaway, every school fun run. I don't just mean in our backyard. I mean throughout our whole South Bay area of Southern California, that through my pizza company originally and through his restaurants and hotels, we were always doing the charitable thing. We're always doing the right thing for the community. So, I think one reason why Michael, picked me as a partner and to come in and take over running Rock Brews is really the philanthropy work that both of us do, which is, really critical in the restaurant business. And I'd like to say we're unique in it, but, restaurants are the type of people that give back to the community. We're the type of people people that need to be fed in time of disaster, that we saw, unfortunately, around the country over the last few years, whether it's Katrina down in Louisiana and some of the other, unfortunate happenings, COVID and so on, right? It's always the restaurants that give back. So, we come from the same block here in beautiful Manhattan Beach, California. And, it's if you start with giving back and treat, not only our customers well, but our employees well, that's the mentality that we share as restaurateurs.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Jay, we talk about that a lot. Like a lot of our guests it is a common thing. Like I like what you said. You're like, we like to think we're so unique, but the cool thing is that we're not unique in that sense. Is that the vast majority of restaurants have a lot of that same philosophy, that they're already part of the community, they already were part of the community, and then when disaster happens, they're there to support the community, and that's common, which is cool. And that's why, Jay, I'm not going to start with the government thing, but I think a lot of people don't understand how integral restaurants and food service is to communities. They're just like, they're a key part of it. There are a lot of times that keystone that keeps everything together, because that's the gathering place. That's the place where people meet up. That's the place that, sponsors the hockey team or the basketball team or the football team or the charity race or whatever it is that's the place that's doing it or pulling it together. So it's awesome to hear that you guys are like that, like many other places. So that's cool.
And the other thing too, I think, Adam, that I want to say that, like, what we started our show was that same purpose, was that we wanted to give back and to tell these stories of these amazing entrepreneurs and restaurateurs and hoteliers and chefs, because they typically don't get the limelight. If it is, it's usually in a negative sense as well. And, or they're going out of business or the industry's going through tough times. We wanted to shed light on the positive of it. Sure. And the amazing things that people are doing, like yourselves, and to also celebrate it. And that's really, at the end of it, why we started our show. And it's been awesome. Like, we've kind of rules that we don't talk negative about what we do and what the industry is about, because there's enough out there. There's podcasts galore, and we're not one, but we want to also talk about the positives. And I know Rock Brews, you guys do amazing stuff. And can you share some things you do? Because I know you give back to the community majorly.
And we do, and throughout the country, with 24 units, from California coast to the East Coast, down in Florida, a tip of southern Florida there as well, up to Milwaukee, through the Midwest and Kansas City and St. Louis, Texas, and so on. The company was really founded on giving back. Mm-hmm. And I know we'll talk more, but our co-founders, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, are just incredibly generous guys. And, really all kind of started with giving back to veterans, which is probably one of our largest mm-hmm. organizations and groups that we do give back in different ways, including on Veterans Day and a couple other days a year. We'll feed first responders and veterans at no cost to them, right? And, we've given away, millions of meals over the last 14 years, to just to make people happy, as much as we could. So, giving back is real important to our co-founders, our founders, and now myself as the CEO of the company. As I like to say, we'd rather give away a meal than discount a meal for someone special in our lives.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Awesome.
But that's what makes you guys so great, right? And I think there's a lot of restaurants that can learn from that, and that's why we love having people like yourself on there to tell those stories and to share that, because a lot of people might say, the discount or whatever it is, and take models like that, but it really, at the end of it, it's about taking care of the people, and especially the vets. And Robert Irvine says hi to you as well. So I was on a show with him yesterday, and he says hi. And I was telling him that you're on the show today, and he's like, "Oh, I know Adam." So he says hi. So, and he also gives so back to the troops and to the veterans and everyone, right?
And the other part of us, being in the food industry and really being a community restaurant that we are around the country, is that there's so many great things that go on. And if you caught the Little League World Series last year, the El Segundo team, which is where our first store is here in Southern California, that was the first Rock and Brews built. They went all the way through the World Series, and like any Little League team or cheerleading squad, or any of these sports that come through the communities, they all need help. And it's a lot on the parents, and it's a burden to travel these kids and pay for expenses. And we had screening parties for that Little League World Series throughout the entire tournament, and everybody who came into Rock and Brews and El Segundo, we gave 20% back across the board to help pay for their kids' trip to go out and play. We raised well over $10,000 for the Little League to use towards that. And those are the kinds of things we can do. And so many restaurateurs do that, and those who don't should, because when the community feels that they give back to you, and they do, so they want to be a part of people that give and know where they're spending their money, stays in the community, and that's what is so important with our restaurants, and the power that we have in these communities is that if we take care of our communities, we know the community takes care of us.
It's awesome. Isn't it, Dominic?
It's such a simple philosophy, right? It's like, it's so true though, but it is simple, right? It is that simple. And I like what you said about, you'd rather feed somebody than just give them a discount. And that's, for a lot of restaurants, that's easier to do.
Yeah.
Than coming up with a discounting scheme and tracking it and all that sort of stuff. A lot of times it's easier just to feed the person, right? Or the group or whatever it might be. Yeah. You have 24 restaurants across the country. Jay's probably I'm going to steal his thunder here. Are you coming to Canada?
We love to come to Canada. We haven't gotten out of this part of North America yet, but I am from Chicago, so I'm used to some of that colder weather up there that we were talking about earlier. But it certainly would love to come up to some of your major cities up there. We're real focused right now in continuing to build out in some of the states that we're in. Texas, we open a new Rock and Brews next Tuesday in Grapevine, Texas, which is part of Dallas area. On the same day, actually, we're getting a little closer to you. We're going in northern Wisconsin. So
that's close.
We'll be opening up at the Potawatomi Casino in Carter, which is in Wabeno, Wisconsin. And that's our second Rock and Brews in partnership with Potawatomi, also known as the Forest County tribe there in Wisconsin, and really great people. Our place in Milwaukee is our newest model with a live band stage, which, by the way, next week Gene Simmons is playing on the band stage in Rock and Brews. Can you imagine this? I mean, we're talking
that's cool.
People that are going to get the
place is going to be packed. Gene's he might be afraid of what he started.
So, if he can handle 130,000 when he gets to play down in South America, he could handle a couple hundred people. So.
What's interesting by Gene, and I was supposed to have Gene on the show last year. We were working on with the Moneybag Soda. We were working on getting Gene on the show. Shannon is actually from Saskatoon. which is our province next to us, and that's where I'm from. So we were talking about it wouldn't be kind of cool if he's up here visiting family to swing on by. But it must be incredible to work with those guys. It must be just incredible.
It is. I mean, you're talking about legendary rock stars, that are just amazing, musicians and personality and really just really great people. And have taken really, such an interest in the Rock and Brews brand as the co-founders. And to this day, they're still tasting food. Gene still comes in and gets his demon burger. And, Paul always has an idea for us, in what we're doing, and really great partners. I feel very fortunate. But on top of it, you're talking about, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame rock stars that we get to hang out with.
That's pretty cool. I like the fact that you said that, not only are they good partners, but they're good people, right? So that makes it easier, obviously, for you. I'm sure your job's not easy, but it must be great to work with good partners and good founders that aren't just, out there. I don't want to say crazy, but wacko. I don't know what the word is, but you hear of some celebrities that are just nuts in some of these brands, and then there's good people that sometimes we don't hear, like Jay said, we don't hear enough of. Hey, there's actually lots of good people out there doing lots of good things that are really there just to support the community. They want to grow their brand, obviously, right? They're in it for a reason, but the giving back part is the first reason. So that's the message I think a lot of times is missed.
Yeah. Well, and they do, and they stand behind it. They stand behind the brand.
Nice.
Whenever doing a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting of a new Rock and Brews or at a new casino, they join in and they're part of it. They're very proud of it. In fact, we just saw a post come over Instagram of Paul publicizing Gene's band playing next week, which was really cool that he popped that up on his Instagram and, supporting, not only just Gene, but the Rock and Brews brand. So you're right. There are other celebrity restaurants out there that, maybe they just buy or license the name and they put the on it. That's not Rock and Brews. Paul and Gene are the start. They start with the Rock and Brews, and have always been that way since inception, and continue to be that way, which is really great for me, by the way, because as we go out and as we expand, which is our intention is to continue to grow and to put these Rock and Brews in more and more locations across North America and beyond. We are looking for opportunities overseas, which is a great brand to take over to Europe and Asia with rock and roll. Rock and roll is the universal language. It's that our classic rock hits, classic Kiss songs. They're being played as much over in Europe and in Asia as they are here in America. So the brand is really has the legs to travel. So to answer your question, when are we coming to Canada?
We've got a spot for you, Adam. I've got a spot for you.
I hope someone's listening that wants to bring us up there.
Well, I got a spot. We got a spot in Calgary. I think that we do really well in Calgary. Yeah. And it would do phenomenal in Calgary. Let's put it that way. I think it'd rock it here.
Send it down to me. Let's take a look.
We'll send it down.
I've seen it. I'm good.
I know. I'm serious too. Like I could only dream of working with Gene, yourself, and Paul on a project up here in Calgary, in Canada. And we're rocking it here in Canada as well. But I have to say this, and I say this sincerely. I've been in the industry 34 years. I've been across the country millions of times. I just came back from headlining the NRA show, the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago. Your brand is solid. I said Rock and Brews is a brand. And I've seen this from the beginning because I've always been a fan of Gene and Paul's. And I've seen it from the beginning, from opening the first store. And I've always been, that's why I'm excited today, because I get to talk a little bit about the legends they are, but it's the brand that you guys have. I've been intrigued from the beginning of the brand, of the incorporation of what you guys have done and the importance of the food. And I've seen posts about Paul, and I've seen Paul talking about the importance of the food and Gene, and them be there when they opened up the first store and looking for the feedback from the customer and the importance of veterans. I've seen it from the beginning, and you guys have a solid brand. It is a good brand. And this is back to what Dominic was trying to spit out, is that it makes sense because you guys are into the details. And I believe the details when you work with franchises or brands like this is so important. The thought that goes into the product, the thought that goes into them being a part of it, it makes the success of what a brand is like you guys have. And it's solid. I have to say, I've seen a lot of brands. They always seem like to be lacking the purpose of what they're trying to do. And you guys nail it. And then I want to talk a little bit about the food, because the food looks phenomenal as well.
And we put a lot into the food. The food
it shows.
We put as much into the food as we do in our training and our hospitality, to be honest with you, because the food can be great. And if you don't have great hospitality and great servers and great cooks in the back making great food, making sure it looks right, you're just another burger joint, or you're just another pizza place, or but you have to excel. And in today's food market, you have to be the best. And we don't settle for anything less than that. If you've been to any of these KISS shows lately, it all starts with, you want the best, you got the best. So that's KISS and that's Rock Brews, because in the competitive market today, with today's economy, if you're not great, if you're not the best, you're not going to be around very long.
Yeah.
There's no room for average. There really is.
Yeah, I like the fact that they focus on that, Jay. We're a training company. I own a training company, Jay. But we all believe in training, like you believe in training, and that actually makes the difference, because the food could be spectacular, and if you have bad hospitality, bad servers, even just stuff that gets neglected or not taken care of as far as cleanliness, it can do a lot of brand damage, and unfairly, actually, because that the great food now gets unfairly criticized because of a dirty bathroom, or because of something that even somebody that wasn't intending to be that. But training and consistency, and I think you said earlier you're dedicated to treating your staff right. That reduces turnover, and that creates loyalty, and taking care of your staff ends up helping take care of your customers, and your customers see it. Well, so it's it's awesome.
And on the training end, we don't just come in, train, get a store open, and go. We continuously train.
Awesome.
Training has to continue, and what we really find is that our staff wants to be trained. Right? They want additional tools to help them in front of house make more money. Our hosts, train them to get to that next level so they can become servers. Our back of house, you start on the fry line, you advance to the grill. Before you know it, you're an assistant lead in the kitchen, and then when a spot opens up, you become a kitchen manager. And there we're really teaching financials as well, because they really have to understand the financials of the business, from the front of house to the back of house. And we really let a lot of areas that you might not normally see in a restaurant understand the financials of the business, because we all know this is a penny's business this day. These days you can't. You're down to pennies and ounces.
I was going to say, there's not much left.
What do you say to companies that don't want to invest in training? What would you say to those people that say, "Hey, I got no money for training"?
There's different ways of training. So there's training that you can spend money, and then there's training that in-house you have your in-house people do. And look, we do a good mixture of both. But because of the size that we're at and the staff that we have on the corporate level, we put our corporate team out into each of our licensed or franchise locations, throughout the year. It's not just to go in and see what they're doing wrong. It's to go in and train them up, right? And to make sure they're serving the product that we're supposed to be. The SKUs are, matching the way we design the recipes. But more than anything, really just working with people to make them feel that they're doing better, to take them to the next level. and ultimately it makes them and the restaurant itself more money. And we know when you're making money, everybody's a lot happier than when you're not.
Yeah, so sales and making money fix a lot of things, right? They just do.
And there's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing wrong with making money either. Adam, as we wrap up here, I got to ask you a couple of questions about the food. I just want to go back to the food for a second. What's your favorite meal at Rock and Brews?
You know,
what do you go to all the time?
My go-to is we have this incredible beet salad, and I get a piece of our blackened salmon on top of it. So I really that's my go-to dish. But I always start, my number one starter are Asian wings.
Serious?
Our top seller, and I spent my college years in upstate New York. I ate a lot of chicken wings in my life. Always wanted to open just a chicken wing place. So instead of just open chicken wings, I did a pizza and chicken wings and salad place. Now at Rock and Brews, we have great starters. And then our fastest growing appetizer right now, we're doing these cheeseburger rolls. So they're actual egg rolls that we slice in half.
Oh, sounds delicious.
I tell you, these things are
sounds delicious, man.
Really good. A little 1,000 on the side. There's pickles on the side. Great cheeseburger rolls.
Oh man, that's awesome. I just love it. I look at the photos online here and the food looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love the little tie-in to the history of music in some of them. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what? It like, I have to be honest. Like I said, you have a phenomenal brand. You've got great products. You need to be in Canada. We're going to get you up here. And I just want to thank you for your time. And here's the thing that I always say to every guest that we have on that are rock stars, and we'll classify you as an industry rock star. You inspire others, and I want you to know that. And when you do these kind of things, like coming on our show and stuff like this, and we have thousands of people that listen to this, you inspire others to keep doing and to take a little bit away from what you say about training, development, attention to details, menus, leadership. It means a lot. So I just want to thank you, Adam, for spending the time with us. And it means a lot. And don't go away. We're going to let you go, but don't go, so we can talk about how we can get one up here. We need a Rock and Brews in Canada. And I just can't thank you enough for your time today.
Well, we'd love to bring one up to you and up to, to the areas that others are listening. And you can contact us through our website. If you have ideas for us, we would love to hear it, because as I say, as I go out and I look at different locations around the country, nobody knows them better than you guys that are local, that can really speak to, the right areas. And we are in a growth pattern right now. We would love to check out in the right spots up in Canada and across the U.S. right now. Anybody overseas wants to talk, we're all ears. And
cool.
This is a very fun brand. It's great to walk into a restaurant and see families enjoying the food, like you said, because I appreciate you talking so much about the food, because the food is so important, but also the fun. And you see them lip syncing the songs, you see their knees bouncing because they're excited of hearing those great classic rock hits that people grew up on, and even the young people, they grew up on it through their parents and their grandparents.
Yeah. Well, Adam, I want to share something with you, and I didn't want to bring this up because. So we lost a friend of mine back in, I think it was last year. We lost Ryan Smokeland. He owned Smoke's Poutineery. He was a massive Kiss fan, and he met Gene. I don't know if you know this, but we had a Kiss off, me and him, on my show, and we tried to see who had better Kiss memorabilia, and he won because he pulls out a picture of him at Gene's house and hanging out with Gene. I'm like, and I had Kiss ketchup and everything. I thought the ketchup would have won. But we had that, and we lost Ryan, and Ryan actually had it in his brand. If you look at Smoke's Poutineery and you go to the website and you Google it, you'll see Kiss stuff integrated into his brand. And every time I did a show, he had a picture of them behind him. And it's awesome to be able to let you know that, because Gene and Paul and Kiss and everything meant so much to Ryan. And we lost him last year through a surgery, but it speaks to the power that you have with this brand and the products and Gene and everything else. And I just want to thank you. It means a lot.
Well, thank you very much. And we're glad to be here. Glad to support. We love your show. And let's talk offline and get you guys.
Yes.
Up there.
Yes. All right. So we're just going to let you go. Don't go too far. We're going to put you in the green room. Dominic, This is royalty we had on the show today.
Yeah,
just so you know.
you did it again, Jay.
It is unbelievable. So I don't want to spend much time because I want to talk to Adam about. We need one up here, eh? Like
there's Calgary, Edmonton, even there's some cities in Canada that can easily support some of those some of those brands, and we need some of that change up here, and they're good markets because they're financially, some of these cities, especially in Western Canada, are we're not as badly affected from the economy than a lot of other places.
And we need a little rock and roll and good food and great people and great leaders up here.
Yeah.
And we need Gene and Paul as well. So
for sure.
That being the deal, we open one up, they got to be there. So you want to see me flip out? Do that. So, all right, Dominic, have a good one. We'll chat later.
Take care, Jay.